football.
It's time to strap in and get ready. The Insight NBA team is in the arena, bringing you the ultimate play-by-play on who's hot and who's not to help you win your leagues and dominate your mates. You're now hooping with your hosts, Matty G, Skitty, and Malley for the Insight NBA show.
G'day everyone, welcome to the Insight NBA show. We are here for a quick time and a good time because, Malley, we've got a date in about 25-30 minutes time with a very big clash in the NBA lineup.
Who you got? Who you think is going to take this one out?
Yeah, Cavaliers versus OKC. I'm gonna go the Cavs. I'm just gonna go the Cavs as a. I think I'm just gonna pick them, but I think OKC will. Oh man, I don't know. I just think there's just it's tough. It's defense versus offense, not the Cavs. Who you got? Who have you got?
Yeah, the same. And I just think because OKC kind of had I think a lucky run against the Knicks, and then putting up against Boston, that this might be the undoing of them now. But it's got to be a cracker no matter what happens. So yeah, very very G'd up for it.
I'm G'd up for it. It's actually my name. It's like I'm just I'm right here and we can all do this.
Feel the juice. You strap yourself in
That's
and
yeah.
feel the juice. You strap yourself in and feel the juice.
It's just playing now like so much. It was on repeat. That's how excited we are for the game. But we're excited to bring you a weekly list of sell high guys. I'm bringing one to the party and then the honorable mentions list because you bought a bunch that I agree with and I want to get to it. My number one guy with the bullet right now is because he's out again of Wednesday's action playing today for the Philadelphia 76ers. Well done to all those. So Gershon Yabusele and your Andre Drummond waiver wire flyers. Get on in there. But he has been in the last 2 weeks the 6th ranked player, Joel Embiid. On the season, in his 13 games played, he has been 21. So while he's flying high, while he's playing games, while Philadelphia is trying to put it together, I think this is the ideal time to sell high on Joel Embiid. And can I say that I think if he gets a couple more under his belt, sell how many back-to-backs are left that he won't be playing. Choose a team in your league, Malley. This is the strategy, I think, that's doing okay, or maybe I don't think you should go someone completely out of contention because the league might get up in half. Look, still a good trade is a good trade. Look for someone who wants to make a move and put a run in. Get back their first round pick and something for Joel Embiid because he's been absolutely powering the last fortnight.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of those situations where it really depends on whereabouts you're sitting in your standings. If you can deal with having him in and out of your IR, I think that the pickup's probably not too bad. But yeah, if not, you probably now is the time to sell. The injuries are wild, like it's just something different every day. But you're right, they're in a position in Philly where they really need to start making some moves because they're running out of time.
And if they don't, then we could very much not see him towards the end of the season. But this is the thing, you do sell the narrative that Philly has to press. And that's what we're doing. We're selling the whole thing that Philly has to press, and there's no one better to press for them, obviously, than Joel Embiid. In the last 2 weeks, he has been averaging 30 points, almost 10 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 500, and almost 900 from the line, Malley. It's absolutely huge.
And we know he's going to do this. Like, none of it's a surprise. It's just how often he can do it. But obviously, that's not the message you're sending out when you're trying to move him on. And I mean, being the 6th ranked player over the last fortnight, that kind of it speaks volumes. You can just let the statistics do the walking and the talking on that one, I think.
One guy who's playing today who we have mentioned is being an absolutely big boy, another beast of the East in the middle. His name is Jared Allen. He makes your list of sell high players. And mate, he is flying high. Last 2 weeks, 11 on the season, 39. I love the guy going in. And you think it's time to get off the Allen train possibly?
Yeah, I think he'll have another big one today just because we've seen these contending teams, when they go up against another a big rival, they seem to play their like playoff roster. So I'd say they're going to use a lot of Allen. But we've also just come from before this fortnight where his statistics look pretty scrumptious. He's been a little bit flat, and I think there was probably a point there where some people might have near given him away. So if you held through it, good on you, and now you've got an opportunity to actually make something back off it. I'm just worried that he might end up going that place again. I mean, we have a look at what he's been able to do over the last fortnight. 750 from the field. That's not egregious because all he does is basically dunk, but that is high. 700 from the free throw line, 2 attempts a game. That's kind of standard for him too. The rebounds look good. It's the points. Like, the points are just so far up compared to what he's been able to do for a lot of the rest of the season. Like in his last couple of games, 19, 11 was a bit flat, but 27 in there as well. He had a 22 and 10, like some big double-doubles. The blocks, after going before this fortnight of games, he went 1, 2, 3, 4 games without getting a block, and now he's back to averaging 2 a game over the most recent 4 games as well. So points up, blocks up, percentage look great at the moment. But yeah, it's the peaks and troughs of the guy that I don't like. And we still know really who's who in the zoo a little bit there in Cleveland at the moment. He's not going to put up whatever he's doing here, 18 to 22 points a game. It's just not going to happen. There's too many mouths to feed. And while everyone's healthy at the moment, I think that, a little bit of another dead spot might be coming up. So if you held him through the tougher times, now might be the right time to make your moves.
Oh, absolutely. And I think this is where it is about picking. We've got to pick our spots. We're picking our fantasy spots, and we're picking that spot right there for Jarrett Allen. And again, if a big game today, I think this is the cherry on top of his fantasy Sunday. If he can come out of today's game and be absolutely stellar against the Oklahoma City Thunder, against someone who everyone loves in a guy like Isaiah Hartenstein, this is the time that we could really capitalize on that and make an absolute bank back, Malley. I think it's bank time, and Allen, especially
all eyes are going to be on the game today too.
Yep, this is it, and everybody, if it's up, it's going to be in your chat. Everyone's going to be going nuts about it. And this is the guy who you move on with. Another guy who I like about his recent performance, being an owner, and can I just say, it's like that Captain Holt thing in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, vindication, because we were both really high on Fred VanVleet before the season. We thought he was being underdrafted. Everybody was like, no, too high. We never said he was first round. We said if you can get him at the end of your second into your third round, you want to sit anywhere between the spot 20 to 35. Bloke is a really good pickup. He was down in the 50s and 60s, and every analyst under the sun, we said, no, it's too low for him. He disappointed everybody and sucked to start the season. His field goal percentage has been at an all-time low. He's been horrible, but welcome back, FB.
Yeah, he's looking great over these last
NBA
couple
has their eyes on the Houston Rockets, the upstarts. On the season, he is 60. Yeah, he's looking great over these last couple of weeks. And the funny thing is, on the season, he was where his draft position is, but the pendulum has swung back. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so we look at these last 5 games. There was 2 kind of flatter ones in there, but what I think is really encouraging is the 12 assists that he had in the last game. Is that anything to do with having a man to just throw lobs to, or he puts those little pocket passes in, and a man just seems to cut from absolutely anywhere and dunk them through. So I think at this time, while Jabari Smith's out, he might have a little bit more stability potentially in his assists, because we know Jabari gets the ball a lot from Fred VanVleet, but can't actually do very much with it. The assists, as I said, assists are good. The points, good to see him getting back up into those double figures after some flatness there too. 4 steals in the last game and a block. Like, the blocks have started to come back a little bit as well.
Yep. That's
when you pick him up. Well, this is a little special feature, getting some blocks from the guard position. I mean, it's basically him and Tyrese who do that kind of semi-regularly.
Derek White. Casey Wallace, Derek White, guys like that. Yeah, those are kind of like the coup de grace of guards. Yeah. If there's like a very small bunch of guys who all sit together at the bar of, I'm a point guard who can get block shots, and it's pretty much Derek White and Fred VanVleet buying the rest of the house those drinks.
Exactly. And I mean, the thing that when you're starting to make your sell as well, through the good games, the flat games, everything else that Fred's been able to do this season, the minutes have always stayed high. You know, like they've never cut his minutes down. Like we know how deep Houston's bench is. It's not like they have no options and like, oh, we better keep churning out Fred. He's been in those high 30s every single game, which has been awesome. But I think, really trying why is now the time to do it? Well, I think you could probably optimize on Amen being in and Jabari being out. Talk about, hey, look at this. We're getting back into that double figure assist territory. Yep. The blocks are coming back nice. He's actually managing to hit some of his threes, which has been great as well. I think you've got to be realistic though. Like I think we had. It's a funny one because a lot of people had really low expectations, which were unwarranted, of Fred VanVleet at the start of the season because of how consistent and strong he'd been in the past seasons. I don't think anyone had a crystal ball. I don't know how some people made a prediction, but there's still so much value there.
I legitimately have a crystal ball on my desk. I mean, sure it is. Sure it is.
Stroke.
Well, no, it's a globe. It doesn't do anything predict the future, but I should probably give it some credit where it's due because we did think that he could be this good. And this was despite, obviously, like we said, look at the Rockets, look at their lineup, look how deep these guys are. We've got guys like Reed Shepherd, who we would just love to see play basketball, not getting any run whatsoever. And then here's Fred VanVleet stinking up the place. And then everyone gets really high on the Amen Thompson train. So what happens with Amen Thompson? But then they just keep on pulling these kind of games out. And it just kind of ratifies the earlier opinion of why he is so good.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, the other thing that's coupling with this besides Amen being in the starting lineup is we've also seen Şengün's assists come down probably maybe 2 over the last couple of weeks on average. So those assists are just going elsewhere. Again, you've got to spin a yarn, create a narrative, and it's probably these few things that you say, well, here we go. We're getting back to maybe some 2023-4 type Fred VanVleet numbers. And, you know, this is the time that you can optimize on getting out while the going's good.
I think there's narratives as well, Malley, as well, that we sell or we make up these things. And we can actually say that Fred VanVleet, in many occasions, is a slow starter. So imagine if we could just have a look at this bloke now compared to where he's been over. I might bring that next show. I might actually look at historically how he started the seasons and then bring back where he goes, because we have seen it go down before. He's been up and down all over the place, and nobody likes the yo-yo player like that. Let's be honest, like nobody likes it. But this is why that the buy low people were coming in swooping like, oh, he's not going to do it. And obviously, if you got him and you are in a tank field goal percentage build to start the season, by the way, congratulations, because he was doing that for you 100,000,000%. But what's happening here is that it's opened up now this beautiful sell high window where if you could put back the narrative for someone looking for these assists and these points and what he's delivering, you're going to get that back. And someone who else has been delivering those in spades lately for the Sacramento Kings, and he was the one player in the team who went out there on the limb and said, we need to be better. We haven't been good enough in the town of Sacramento. He put it on his shoulders. It's Malik Monk. Now, this is the great thing. We know we're doing it over the last 2 weeks. In the last week, it's a really sexy option because, Malley, like you say, mate, recency bias is a real thing. And in the past week, he has been the 11th ranked player, 39th in the last 2 weeks. The interesting thing here is since he's moved into the starting lineup, he has been 77th on the month. And he's 75th on the year. So he's pretty much going to be there. So you can see where he's jumped up in the last 2 weeks. And it's especially been buoyed without Malik Monk in the lineup.
Without you talking about Fox being in the lineup?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Without Fox being, De'Aaron Fox being in the lineup. Yeah.
So, 2 games with Fox out. There was a game there as well. Who else has been sitting for them? Someone else had a game out there.
Keegan Murray was out for a game there as well.
That's right. Keegan Murray missed the game. They're only a couple of weeks into new coaching staff.
Yep.
So, there's still dust settling there. We've got interesting questions around what's going to happen with that starting lineup when everyone's back. And my worry is that it could spell Monk going back to the bench, and that might limit his minutes. He still gets plenty of shots up and does what he does there. I think he's a great fit in the role that he's in at the moment. But, with that little cloud of concern hanging over me, that's probably what would push me to start making sells. The other thing that I look with his last 2 weeks here is he's getting to the line 5 times a game, which is fantastic. Yep. And he's got a 900 or 94% clip there, which is wild. I remember times last year where I picked this guy up off the waiver wire and something like 2 for 7.
And it's crazy as well because he has usually been a good historical free throw shooter, but last year was such a massive anomaly. I remember picking him up too and being like, what is he doing? Why are you losing me my week?
He definitely costing you weeks there. Like the 3-point percentage at 35% is not too bad either. But yeah, the assists through the roof, the points, he's been going nuts. But yes, he's been doing this without one of the other starters in the starting lineup out over the last fortnight. We don't know what's going to happen with Keon as well. Like, is Keon Ellis going to move into this starting lineup just because it's a better fit, which is going to put a little bit of a squeeze on Monk? So I think this is probably a bit of an insurance move. I don't think he's going to stay this hot, coupled with the fact that he might even not only cool down, but the cool down might come with the fact that he gets pushed back to the bench from once where he came. So for me, once
you come, Malik.
Yeah, back to the swamp. So we'll see what happens there, but I want to get ahead of it. And if he ends up staying there, I don't think, because he's only going to be, depending how deep your competition is, he's probably only going to be your 5th, 6th, 7th best guy anyway. So I think it's worth rolling the dice and seeing what you can get back. While he's hot.
And I think the only thing there, and I will play devil's advocate because it's me and I like to play devil's advocate and see both of the sides, especially in trades. What you can sell as your narrative to help ensure this goes your way is there are a lot of trade talks around De'Aaron Fox going to the Miami Heat to reteam with Jimmy Butler as well and all these old Kentucky narratives. Now, if that's the case, there is every single bit that Malik Monk has his highest return ever in fantasy land by the end of this season. Like, there is every opportunity in this regard that he just ends up becoming some super incredible top 25 player that we know he can be, or top at least, like he's 11 now, but there's the opportunity for him to finish like top 30 and on the year 35, if that's the case, because Sacramento is really going to need to lean on him to bring a lot of their scoring and a lot of their development. So let's just put that as the caveat there. Like, you are gambling the dice in the opposite direction as well. A guy who you've been bringing into your lineups for years and out of your lineups for the last couple of years has been Russell Westbrook. In the last 2 weeks, he has been 74. Now, this is a good fringy move because he's been really buoyed. On the season, he's the 122nd player, but he's been really good the last couple of weeks. The free throw percentage is up around plus 700. Field goal percentage is what's been great for this bloke, though, 550. This is an outlier. He has not been a 550 shooter ever since in the last 5 years, but he's doing this in the last 2 weeks. He's also, funnily enough, been doing it in the last month. So recency bias is there. On the season, he's 450, 14 points a game, or 6 rebounds, and the 7.5 assists. If you got this guy off your waiver wire, you've been laughing, Malley. It's almost like vintage Russ light.
Yeah, exactly. And people love the guy, and they love him in fantasy. And you've just got to find the right person. You've optimized and picked him up at the right time. You've ridden it for a while now and got some of the good games out of him. That triple-double where he went perfect percentages and didn't have a turnover, I think shocked everybody, probably even himself. But yeah, we've got to remember Aaron Gordon's been out and he's going to come back soon. You would say that would spell the end for Russ in the starting lineup. Maybe not. Maybe they keep him at shooting guard. But, that's obviously a piece that needs to come back into the puzzle. The shooting percentages, obviously the fortnight's worth of statistics say one story, which I don't think is going to be the story that continues. As you said, the last 5 years have pretty much solidified what kind of shooter he is. It's the brick master. That's kind of who he is and what he does. He enjoyed a good game yesterday with Jokic out, and that really kind of let him fly a little bit more as well. Murray's been in there in and out, but he's starting to get a little bit of consistency and health underneath him as well, which also puts a squeeze on what Russ does. So, yeah, I think out of the 5-6 names that we're putting up today, this is the one that I'm the most certain about a fall coming and watching him slowly dribble back down the rankings until he's nice and comfortably outside the top 100, potentially top 150, because, those percentages really buoyed the increase and improvement in the rankings that he's getting at the moment.
I agree. I think he's a perfect package guy too. Perfect package guy. Like you can put him with someone because it looks really like you're giving so much. Him with the Joel Embiid type, you're like, this is a very tasty trade at this point in time.
Yeah. And we talk a lot about perfect storms and how everything just lines up at the right time. And there's just so many ticks in the boxes there, around his availability, other players being out, him getting in the starting lineup, him shooting otherworldly percentages, or not even otherworldly, just this worldly percentages, which is something that he hasn't been able to do for half a decade. So, but at the same time, people don't pay attention to that. Your competition might not pay attention to that. They see what he's doing. They see a pathway for him to go forward. That it's Russell Westbrook. It's a name. So you'll find buyers.
Oh, you'll find buyers. We're going to finish up with our honorable mentions list and one more individual player. It's another guy that people love or they love to hate, but he has been one of the absolute veterans of the NBA for a long time right now. And this is an interesting case for Chris Paul as well. In the last 2 weeks, he has actually been the 90th best player. So it feels weird or salacious to say sell high when he's actually been the 64th best player in 9 category leagues, Malley. Bit low key under the season, which has been fantastic for him. In the last week, he's been down a little bit, but again, what we love to see is the double-digit assists. Like he's been averaging the last week 10.6. He is getting like on the. He's just been chugging along. 8.3 assists, 5 rebounds a game, 8 things. The percentages have been woeful, but again, we're looking to sell high on this one because on the season he's been really, really good, and you just think maybe an injury is coming.
That's it. It's maybe less a sell high. It's just a sell now. Like it's not like he's been having these outstanding games. The last game was really good where what did he hit? 18. He put 18 points up. He really took over offensively. Like old Chris Paul.
Very assertive.
Last game
Very assertive. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. Like he's getting into double-double territory, triple-double territory there. He's only missed 1 free throw in the last fortnight, which is insane. But it's the fact that he's the second oldest man in the league, and they're playing him 30 minutes a night. They're not being any sort of you see how cautious they are with Sohan, with Vassell, with Wemby at times. But they don't have that same level of caution with Chris Paul. I think they're just running the last tread on the tires. He is really critical there. We talked about Monk and the fact that he and his value going forward might really rely on this potential Fox trade. And I know a lot of these rumors don't come true, but we also know that there's no smoke without fire type situation. And there's talks of him potentially going and joining Wemby. And obviously that would heavily impact what Chris Paul does, and he'll be more help from the sidelines than he is on the court. So I think the fact that he's had this wild prolonged season of health so far, that he's the second oldest guy in the league, that they're playing him 30-plus minutes every night. It's less the fact that it's like, oh, he's doing so well, and let's get out and see if we can get something good back. I just want to get some security back. Yeah, I'd be picking someone who's sitting somewhere around his ranking in that 90th type range, and I'd be picking someone where I'm like, look, they're not flashy, but what they do is consistent. They got young legs. You know what I mean? Like they're just the writing's not as on the wall as it is for old CP3.
And someone who took the values of writing on the wall for some of our honorable mentions this week. In the last 2 weeks, Zach LaVine and Kobe White have been buoyed by the Ayo Dosunmu injury. Zach LaVine on the season 51. He could finish up around there, 60-ish, depending on trade talks. We know that he may not be long still for Chicago. Kobe White has been flying lately after everybody just jumping off him. He was returned to many waiver wires in leagues as well, which has just been astonishing to see him move up to 22nd after being 181 on the season in the I guess in the stepping up into the Dosumu injury, even with Lonzo Ball coming back, because Dosumu before he just went out was the 33rd ranked player, which was an absolute must pick up at the time. Anthony Simons has been improving for Portland. So too is Shaden Sharp there as well. But Anthony Simons, 46, we don't know what's going to happen there. I feel he settles into the 70 or 80 range. So if you can get a 50-ish pick back for him, that's fantastic. Miles Bridges been buoyed by the outages of Brandon Miller. He's at 34 the last 2 weeks, 83 on the season. Again, similar case for a top 50 player back in return who can absolutely get some solid value instead of playing out Miles Bridges. And Jordan, not Pools with an S, it's Pools. I was going to say his last 2 weeks. He has been the 20th ranked player. He has made the list again. Now, I wasn't high on him. I just wanted better things for Jordan Poole, and I want better things for you. He has been 54th on the season, so you could probably aim, and you should aim, for a player in the top 30 for Jordan Poole because he has been fantastic. I think he plays down the stretch. They're already sucking and losing. I don't think he's going to get pulled. We know he improved in that situation towards the end of last season. I think it's sell high, but I also think it's a hold. So unless you get the right price for Jordan Poole, who has been electric, that's what we do. And we get out of here, Malley. We thank our sponsors, The Standard Squeeze. You can use them for promo code IFS15 for 15% off your order. Check them out at The Standard Squeeze as well. And get yourselves down. Cavaliers versus OKC.
Yep, get to it. Enjoy.
Take care, everyone. Be well. We'll see you soon.